Hello, my name's Christine and I'm on the design team for Arden Creative Studios, and in today's video I thought we'd do a journal page. I keep mentioning this journal. I think I did do a video on one of them. I thought it had been a blog post, but I think it was a video that I had shown you on this page a little while back. But I thought, why not do one with the Bean There collection, because I'd put a couple of the pages in this journal from the Bean There collection, and in my previous Bean There video a couple of videos ago I was also using some scraps of the papers that I had used for these two pages to make a card. And I have no idea where I'm going with this page, so it's going to be a kind of bring it all together rather than me following a card that I've already created. So I'm not sure which page I'm going to work on yet. I think this one, yeah, this was also from the Bean There collection, so I've got a few different ones to pick from and I'm not sure where I'm going to go with yet. So if you want to see what we're going to do in this art journal today, then stay tuned to see what I create. So as I said, I've got no idea where I'm going with this. I don't know whether I'm going to start on one of the busier pages and just add a few extra pieces, or whether to start on one of the pages that doesn't have as much on and build some other bits and pieces up on it. Like, I pulled this paper out because I really love the map on this. And I don't know whether maybe we should start on a more blank page and kind of tear some bits up and add them. Could be a nice idea. Maybe we could do that then. Maybe we could start, yeah, let's start with this page. So I'm going to just tear this. And I've shown you a bunch of different ways of how to use your scraps of papers that are left over for creating your cards with. So this will not go to waste. Any of these pieces that I'm tearing off of this page are never going to go to waste. They will end up on another card at some point in the future. But I'm thinking kind of a torn element like this to sort of build up this simple page, or we could go on this page and almost bring it across so we're sort of starting and building into the next page maybe as well. Okay, so maybe like that. I do really want to use some of the rub-ons as well. I've used those suitcases before because I absolutely adored those, and we've got more beautiful matte pieces, but I'm eyeing up these arrows. I'm wondering whether the arrows would work nicely maybe coming out from underneath that patterned paper. They're going to get too hidden maybe. What if we did do a double page and we had the arrows coming in that direction? Or even pointing to our page maybe. That could be nice. Okay, I'm going to trim that out ready. But we're not committing to anything yet, and I've got those extra little stamps there, which could be another little accent on this page as well, so I don't lose those. They could go up there somewhere. So I think that rub on there, then some kind of piece of paper like this, then I think we should nail down what sort of quote we're going to do on here. So I quite liked a couple of the bits from here when I was looking at this. I didn't use this one yet. I'm never sure if I've used something or not, but I'm thinking we've got up in the clouds there, and then there was another one that I was thinking, love this place up in the clouds. So not necessarily about going places and stuff. I'm kind of thinking more love this place up in the clouds, like having your head in the clouds and, you know, just being creative and stuff. So that could be some kind of sentiment for this page. What else is there? Not planned. That's quite a nice one as well. So love this place up in the clouds, or love this place not planned up in the clouds. That could be cool. Yeah, I quite like that. Okay. Miles away, I like that too. Not for the travelling, just like miles away with your head in the clouds. I think that works quite nicely as well. Okay, so we've got those pieces from the laser cuts, and we've got our rub on there as well. Then what other scraps have I got lying around? I've got this ticket kind of piece here, which is spotty on the back, which could make our sentiment or our sort of quote pieces stand out nicely. If we tear this into a little rectangle, we could maybe add this in to kind of highlight these. I don't want to cover England as well because that's where I live. So love this place not planned up in the clouds. Maybe. Don't know if I like that, but again, if I don't use this scrap, it will be used somewhere else at some point. We do have the stencil in this collection too, and we have some beautiful stamps in this collection as well, which I'm very tempted to add into the background too. So I don't want to have too much busy stuff going on in the background because I do want to use these stamps. So it's a good job we have gone on to a more plain kind of background here. Now, is there anything else from this that we could use? What about one of those tickets? The yellow ticket maybe? This sort of ticket piece. Could we layer that with the spotty? Maybe. That might look good. I love the stitches in this one, the Traveller Essentials words and phrases that go along with the other words and phrases set, and the die set that can cut out the little banners as well. I love the stitching in this, so we might be doing some stitching, stamping on here as well. I do think possibly some of the stenciling, but definitely some of these collage-y stamps. I absolutely adore those in the background there as well. Then, I mean, this could just be the start of this page, or I mean, this could even just be a completed page because I love maps and I just love the look of them. I don't know what area of the world this is. I don't think that's got England on it at all. No, I don't think it has. But it's just a, you know, a lovely sort of map kind of design for a background. And then got that there. Is there anything else in the rub-ons? What other things? There's more of the map in here, but the coloured version of the map. Don't know if that would quite go. So maybe not any more of that. I don't know if I like the orange paper. Maybe, what does that look like without the orange? No, I think it needs the orange. Sorry, you're a bit far away up there. I do think it needs the orange actually. But then, how do I think it's the way this, I kind of want it hanging off, but then you don't really want things hanging off both sides of the page. I do also have leftovers from that previous card that I had created with you using the postage stamp dies, so maybe could we have a few of the postage stamp die pieces coming off of here as well? I don't know if that makes it too, and then we're going to have those stamps, but then I want the stamping in the background as well. Okay, I think I'm going to get the stamping in the background on there first, and then we can play around with this more, because I may decide that I want to do something different with the wording on here, or, you know, something else. So let's move those pieces off to the side. Oh, and that one as well, don't want to lose that. We've got that rub on there and we've got that. So for this, I definitely want to use this piece here. We may be going a little bit overkill with all of the map pieces, but I do really love that. So definitely that. Then undiscovered, I like that word, undiscovered. Because again, that obviously in this collection, undiscovered means, you know, nobody's travelled there because it's a travelling kind of collection, but undiscovered can be an undiscovered crafty art journal-y kind of thing as well. It doesn't have to just be to do with travel, which is lovely. I think let's just go with those two stamps from here. And then obviously I love those stitching stamps on here too, so I'm going to pull all three of those in. Okay, and then maybe some of the stenciling as well. So we've probably got to do the stenciling first so that we don't smudge any of our stamping. And if we're going to have arrows pointing this way with the rub-ons, maybe we want arrows pointing back the other way. And I'm going to do subtle in this background. I'm going to go with Lost Shadow and Pumice Stone kind of colours, because they're nice, subtle, like really light grey kind of tones. My light brush has got a little bit of blue on it, so we may get a little bit of blue contamination, but that's fine because we're using blue on this page anyway. But I'm going to go with Lost Shadow. I do mix and match my oxide and ink brushes. That may shock some people, but I don't mind mixing them together. So that's why that looked like I've just put oxide on my distress ink pad. It shouldn't contaminate it. I'm just going to add... Oh, I stuck that onto a stamp. Oh, that looks brilliant. I like that. That looks like it's part of the paper. Okay. And I think a bit more of that down here. Maybe we won't even need the pumice stone for the ink blending, actually. I think just that Lost Shadow. That's really nice. It's just really subtle. Just adding something really subtle into the background. Then, maybe we'll go pumice stone... Distress Oxide for the stamping. Okay, so I've got my Distress Oxide. Now if I'm thinking of keeping this piece of paper like this, then to be able to see this beautiful image, I'm going to want to ink it up and place it about there. I don't mind if things don't stamp perfectly in an art journal either. But if you do want things to stamp really nicely in an art journal, take your flat cutting plate, the one that you don't cut into in your die cutting machine, or a large acrylic block, and put it under your page before you stamp, and that will help you get a better impression as well. I like that. It's just something a little bit subtle in the background, and I'm maybe going to do a little bit there as well. And then we've got this undiscovered. I like that word. So I'm going to do like the triplicate kind of stamping that I often do with my date stamp when I'm dating a art journal page, just to kind of give that kind of effect. And Katie even has some stamps like that in her collection as well, with like the same word in different sizes or the same phrase in different sizes, and I absolutely love those ones. So I think, yeah, that looks really good. It just adds something a little bit extra to that background, and it kind of personalises it to you, which I think is always great when you're doing your art journaling. Okay, I'm going to leave the stitching ones for now because I'm probably going to do those in black or dark brown, so we kind of want to be definite where we want to put those by the time we get to them. So I'm going to rub these arrows on because I do definitely want those on there. I'm going to go right up to the edge of the page and press that down, and then burnish it into position. And what I like about the rub-ons is they have a bit of translucency to them as well, so that you can see the writing underneath them. Not all colours are as translucent as others, but it's quite nice to still be able to see a lot of that detail that's on the patterned paper underneath. Okay, so there we go. We've got our gorgeous rub-on there. Just make sure it's all pressed down. And it's just pointing into our page that we're working on. I like that a lot. Okay. Then I do like the idea of some kind of rub-on on this page, whether it is those little stamps up there somewhere or moved around. I don't know if I'm liking the blockiness of that, or even the blockiness of that. Maybe we need to, I don't know, I love this place. No, I do think it needs something underneath it to kind of make that pop out nicely. Maybe that is the way to go there. So, love this place up in the clouds. Maybe we don't need the not planned. Maybe just love this place up in the clouds. Let's see if there's any other things in this set that would work. We have got a globe in here, like an earth, oh gosh, all the pieces are falling out, go this way. Yeah, we've got this earth here. I don't know, no, I don't think that would go. We have got gorgeous like moths and butterflies as well. We've got a compass. Lovely foliage too. I love all the foliage that Katie puts in her collection. It's absolutely beautiful. And that moth is kind of... oh, that does go really nicely actually. It's like the perfect colours for that paper. I wouldn't have put a moth or a butterfly on this page, but that looks really good actually. Maybe this one would also work because it's kind of tying in those colours on this piece of paper as well. Oh, I like that. I would not have thought to do that. I like that a lot actually. Maybe... Okay, bringing in that postage stamp idea as well, maybe if we do some of those die cut postage stamps that I had left over from that card, and maybe let's also bring in some of these, or at least one of these laser cut ones as well, to have a postage kind of element on this too. Oh, there's more of these moths and butterflies. Oh, this one would look really good, just the yellow. Okay, we're going with a butterfly kind of, or a moth kind of theme. Ironically, I found a big moth in the garden the other day, so probably quite appropriate that I do a page that's got moths on it. So we've got that kind of thing. Maybe we could mount the up in the clouds just onto a small piece of this, just to kind of tie in that orangey colour that's across some of the other areas on this page. Up in the clouds, like that. Love this place, up in the clouds. Maybe we don't even need up in the clouds. This one popped out when I was looking at other things, so it says go this way. Love this place, go this way. That could be nice. Then we also had this one, didn't we, that said miles away. That's a nice little extra accent. Okay, I think I like that. It kind of makes sense as well, because it says love this place is near England, and then it says go this way, and I moved from England to Wales and it's miles away, so that actually works quite well. And maybe, do we need any more of these? Or I mean these little ones here as well. Those could still be like scattering off that way as well. We could maybe even twist these and make the stitching into the trails from the moths or the butterflies too. That could work really nicely. Okay, let's put these bits and pieces away. Isn't it funny how like a page can totally change around just because you think of one different thing to kind of alter? I think that works really well. Okay, now because we've changed our mind, are there any more pieces from the rub-ons that we feel like, because if we're going to scatter those there, maybe we want some of the other little scattery elements that are like that too, because we've got this little cluster here. Is that exactly the same? Oh, that's the new sheet, that's why. Where's the open sheet? There it is. Okay, so we've got a couple of other different clusters here of these little stamps. And maybe if we're going to add those in, it would be nice to use some of the other ones that are in here as well to tie that together. Yes, that's going to look really nice. Okay, so we've got all of that going. That's really good. And then, other than doing the butterfly moth kind of trails, I think this is pretty good now. And we may even use some of the epoxy stickers on here as well. But I'm liking how this looks. And I don't know if even... So I've got this piece left over, again from that postage stamp card. That could even like come out from underneath there. That's got the little postage stamps on. I like that. Okay, and then we're kind of leaving this side really plain, so we could add to it if we want to later down the line. But it also kind of just is a beautiful patterned paper and directs your eye onto this page. Okay, I like that a lot. So let's start adding rub-ons and bringing this page together. So I think, yeah, I think where I've put those rub-ons actually is going to look really good. So let's just put this one down here. You'll have to let me know if you enjoy the art journal kind of videos, or do you prefer my card making videos, because I'm happy to do either. But it would be nice, you know, to know if you're interested in watching these kind of art journal ones. Sometimes I may have more of a plan in mind rather than just winging it. But I feel like it's also nice sometimes just to see somebody put a page together, because you might think, oh, I'm not sure if I could do that. But if you see how easy it is for somebody else, you know, to sort of pull things together and see how you can easily change your mind and change the direction of your page and everything. I'm just wondering if you're finding it useful to see these kind of videos. So let's rub that one on as well. I really like those small little ones, they're really cute. I hadn't actually even noticed that they were in there before. It was only because I used that arrow and then this one of these was attached to it that I actually noticed those, so that's really cool. So we've now got those bits and pieces. Then I want this to be tucked under this patterned paper, so I'm going to stick this one in next and stick that underneath there. Then I'm going to move these other bits and pieces out of the way first and get the paper stuck down. So I think for this I'm going to use some double-sided tape and some glue to help this really stay down, because I don't know how much you know, if I'm gonna add things to the other side of this page, or you know how much it's going to be opened and closed and stuff being an art journal. So I'm going to go with a nice coverage of some double-sided, and then I'll add some glue around the edges too. But also, when you're doing journaling, junk journaling, art journaling, whatever you do, if you leave things with not tape up to the edges, you can then at a later date change your mind and, you know, tuck more things underneath the edges. So, you know, it kind of depends how you like to work and whether you feel like a page is always finished once you finish crafting for the day, or whether you want to be able to add to it later on. And also, because of the way I've made this journal, I have stapled the pages together, but I've also hole punched, because my idea is when I've finished with all of these little journals, I'm going to sew them into a cover that I've made as well. So I don't want to cover those holes with this piece of paper, basically. So I'm going to sort of do it a little bit away from the spine, so I'm not interfering with those holes. And because the other side of that page is lighted, you can't really tell actually that I've put it further away from the middle, so that's all right. Okay, so we've got that in position now, and then we've got these beautiful moths, which we can have either way around as well. And I think maybe I'll have it more off the map so you can actually see that really nicely. I think I will go with that sort of little postage element up here. I'm going to just take the little pips off of here because they're from the laser cut sheet. I'm definitely going to go with love this place, and then go this way, and then miles away. I think I liked it sort of down there. And then I've got the other two moths on here as well. I think they are moths rather than butterflies, these ones. Maybe, well, you can go further into the page maybe. Something like that, I think. But I'm going to have to stamp the trails on as well before I stick the rest of those moths on, so I can get the stamping good on those. And for this I'm just going to stick that postage stamp down and then stick the laser cut postage stamp sort of off to one side. And even though this is an art journal, I think I will actually use a little bit of 3D foam, because that previous page that I did, I kind of wished I had used a bit of 3D foam on it looking back at it. So I am going to go with just the low profile 1mm depth of 3D foam, just to give it a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to do love this place, and then go this way. and then miles away. I'll add that with the 3D as well. I don't think there's a miles away on those. No, unless I've already used it. Okay, so we've got our little miles away there. Then, how are we going to do our stitching? I love this one with all of the sort of loops of stitching on it. Now, I want this to go more this way. So, if we sort of position that, does that look kind of natural for that butterfly? I think that would work. And I'm going to go dark brown because we've got this dark brown here. So I'm going to go with the Pine Cone VersaFine Clair as a nice brown ink. And I think... trying to work out which way I think it should go. Maybe this one should be this one because it's going to have more room. So this one would maybe want to go like that. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. So I think like that. Oh, perfect. Oh, that makes such a good butterfly trail. You'll have to try that if you've got this collection. That works so well. Sorry, I went the wrong way then. That works so well. Absolutely love that. Oh, and I've just put my hand in the ink pad. Okay, so we've got that one's going to go there. Then we've got a smaller piece of stitching. So maybe if that could curve up. So you can see how, because these are lovely high quality photopolymer stamps, you can see how easy it is to manipulate them onto an acrylic block and get them to go where you want them to go, which is brilliant. Okay, so we've got a lovely little curve on that one there as well, and then we've got a third different stitch here too that we could use on this one. Now maybe we want this one to come onto the map paper actually, which means that needs to go in that direction. And maybe a bit more of a curve on it. Maybe like that would look good. Okay. So let's have that like that. Oh, I like that a lot. I think that looks really good. It's just a different fun way of like adding a trail to your butterflies. I'm so glad that moth piece fell out, otherwise I don't think I would have thought to use it on this project, but that works so nicely. Okay, so we've got that one there, we've got our little yellow one, and then we've got our yellow and greeny coloured one as well. Make it more angled that way. And I'm leaving them so their wings are free, so even though this is an art journal, if you want to add a bit more dimension you can just sort of fluff up their wings nicely. Okay, then epoxy stickers. So I really like these and I feel like they just add the perfect little accent, and we've got lovely little hearts on here. I'm thinking maybe a light blue heart on the wing of that one would look quite nice. So we've got that on there, and then we could go with yellow stripy one over there, maybe the light pinky orange colour as well, and then green heart just as a little scattering up there, and then maybe we could do some more that are more hidden within the map as well. Let's do a stripy dark red heart. Maybe a stripy blue. Let's put that there. Okay, just some random extra little accents on here. And then I think that's pretty much done. I really like how that's turned out. I will add my date stamp to this as well. I like that. I think that's just a really simple page, just using some of the 6x8 patterned papers, the rub-ons, the epoxy stickers, the laser cuts. I think everything was from the laser cuts in the end. And then we've also got some beautiful stitching from the stamps. We've got some stenciling and some other stamping in the background as well. This patterned paper is one of the solid ones that actually has more of the subtle kind of detailing on it as well. But yeah, I really like how that's turned out. So I really hope you enjoyed this kind of art journaling video using the Been There collection, and you'll have to let me know if you like this kind of video doing more art journaling rather than all just doing card making as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next video.